Hey everyone, I recently just upgraded my from my 2305 that I purchased last year, and I just purchased this nice tidy little 1025R. So I thought I'd do a little comparison video and talk about the things that I like about the new one, and actually there is some things I actually prefer on the old one. So I have a loader for it coming. Unfortunately, it's not here yet, a 120R loader for that 1025R. So I can't really do a loader comparison, but I've heard, I think they're very similar loaders, but I think that's the thing I like about the old one. I think that 200X loader on the 2305 actually has to lift higher and more and have a stronger breakout force than the loader for this one. So I guess that's one way to start it out, is that I probably will prefer the loader on this older tractor here. But yeah, let's go over to the new one. I think the number one thing I right away like about the new one is the folding rollover protection system, or the ROPS. So that's kind of nice for mowing the lawn and getting in the low garage, I guess. So I guess that's one thing I like a lot about it. Another big thing I like about this one is the fuel cap location. So it's a really big fuel cap. So whenever I fuel it up, I have a farm pump with a big hose, so it doesn't make a mess when I fuel it up. Whereas that one has the fuel cap right there in the middle. And it's super small, and it's in a really clumsy location, and I always spill diesel everywhere. So this is a massive upgrade. I guess in this area, I also like, this one has from factory these nice Hilla work lights, whereas that 2305 does not have those. So that is a nice feature. I also like the location on this one of the mower depth adjust. It's kind of nice off to the side, whereas that one, it's right by your feet and it gets kicked and it's kind of irritating. It's right there in the middle. Also on this one that I really like, it's kind of a smaller thing, but it's actually really nice. The PTO selector is hidden way under the seat there. So the reason I like that so much more on this one is if you go to the older 2305, it's got this massive PTO selector, and I've actually, while I was blowing snow, bumped it and engaged the mid PTO with it. So I don't know how good that is for the gearbox, but I'm sure you could just cut it and your problem would be solved. But see how it's right close to the seat there, kind of easily bumped and bent. I really disliked that about this one, so they fixed that with the new one, which I like. Yeah, on the other side, you have the nice work light. The 3-point hitch controls are very similar. This one has a nice lock system for if you want to lock out the height of it, so I like that. A massive upgrade is the joystick. So the joystick on this one for the loader functions, or the SCV functions, it's super tight. It's super, yeah, it's much shorter, I guess, and closer to the operator's right arm there. If we move over to the 2305, it wasn't a horrible design, but if you see the SCV, or the linkage and the control valve for the SCV functions here, it's just way under the seat. So they had to put this massive, goofy, bent, like this is how it looks in factory, but to have it nicely located by the operator's right arm. So over time, it just easily gets worn. Like this is all just wear, and I think they're actually sloppy like this from factory. So another major dislike for the 2305 that they have definitely fixed with the new 120R. Yeah, another thing, I guess it's kind of more luxury based and not function based, but is the seat. It has armrest, and it's a suspension seat, has a bit of suspension in it. It's way more padded, whereas this is just a stiff regular seat. I'm sure you could upgrade the seat on it, but from factory, this 1025R is a much nicer seat. And operator station in general, it has a tilt steering wheel. So if I grab there, I can tilt the steering wheel back and forth to get on and off. Seems kind of not a big deal, but it's actually kind of nice. I definitely already missed it when I went back on this one. This one has cruise control, so I don't use that a lot, I guess, but it's kind of a nice feature to have. Yeah, those are kind of the major things that I'm thinking of right now. Another thing that I like over on the older machine, well, two things back here. The PTO shaft, the stub shaft for the PTO, it's right there. It's much higher, so you see where it is located relative to the tires. This one is lower. So you can see it there, it's kind of more in the middle of the tires where that one is raised. So on my rear mount Frontier snowblower, it already had an aggressive angle pointing down towards this one when it was lifted up. So I think that will be even worse on the new 1R. So I'm kind of, I guess, disappointed about that. That will be a little bit frustrating when lifting up the blower. I'll have to be really careful that I don't lift it up too high and it'll bind those U-joints on the shaft. But yeah, trivial, I guess, but yeah, I really like the height of this one. I also really like that this, for the hydraulic fluid, you see there that fluid in the bubble or the seeing glass, that's your level. So if you see fluid, you're good. If you see it all fluid, you have too much, and if you see nothing, you have too little fluid. So not a big deal, but this one is just a dipstick that you just pull out there. So yeah, not a big deal, but it was kind of nice to just look and see the sight glass. You saw oil and you knew you were good to go. So it's just one more thing to check on the startup of that one. This is something you could add, but I think it comes from factory, this toolbox. So this is factory on the 1R, which it will be in handy. You put your shear bolts in there and your wrenches and whatever else. I'm sure, yeah, you could put one on this one, but this one did not have it. So I already like that toolbox. General looks, I think that 1R looks fantastic. If you sit on it, I'll kind of sit on it here. It has a much more wide and aggressive look. Whereas if we move to the 2305, the previous model, it looks fairly good as well, but it's just kind of thinner. And yeah, I don't know what they did, but the styling of this 1R is fantastic. So that was an improvement, I thought. I guess that's operator preference, but I think this one looks a little tougher. So I guess we'll finish off with the deck. So I had no qualms with this deck. I actually barely used it. I got it brand new with the tractor, and I only used it once. So that one time I used it, I had no issues with it, but it is definitely lighter than this one. So a lot of you might know the 7 iron decks. I don't think this is one is an actual 7 gauge steel or a 7 iron deck, but it's definitely heavier built and deeper. So you can see the depth of that deck is quite a bit more than that. It also has round tubing welded all around it, so that will add integrity and strength, which I like. Whereas this one is just stamped and then delivered like that pretty much. So I'll miss that deck was brand new, whereas this one has been used for 400 hours, but it's definitely a much tougher deck, and it's a drive over. I'm not going to talk about that feature too much. There's lots of videos about it. I really dislike the auto connect drive over feature. It seems that it doesn't always quite line up perfect there, and I'm finding myself prying it up with a pry bar to get it to lock. So yeah, I had no qualms or no problems with the manual connect deck. So I guess, yeah, if it's working, it's nice, but it doesn't always work out. So I guess I missed the auto or the manual connect deck of the 2305. So yeah, I guess those are a few differences or things I like about either one. They're very similar tractors. They have the same tire size, the same wheelbase, similar weight, same horsepower. The 1025 has a slightly bigger engine. It has a 1.3 liter, and this one has a 1.1 liter, but yeah, they're very similar in power and torque. So yeah, other than a few quirks and features, they're very similar tractors, but I'm definitely excited to get my 120R loader for that 1R and yeah, see what it can do and mowing lawn and doing loader work and moving snow next winter. So yeah, put a thumbs up in the on the video. Yeah, any comments? What do you think of the two tractors? Which one is your favorite? They're both fantastic little tractors.